Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
This is Caroline.
What is today?
It's Turn Up Tuesday.
We are bringing y'all some news.
We have a bunch of stuff to talk about. We're talking about a stalker who killed the podcaster. We're talking about Jared Bridegan.
Okay.
I keep calling him Bridgerton, like the show. But it's Bridegan. There is a little story about Gwyneth Paltrow that's been in the news. And then, to cure your Murdaugh hangover, we're going to talk about Stephen Smith and what's going on with that.
Yes. No, Michael Irvin and his...
Oh, we can go there. It's the stupidest thing. Did you see the video?
Yes.
So, let's just start with that.
Okay.
Michael Irvin was being... sued by the Marriott or being...
It's Irvin, not Irving. That is...
Okay, Irvin. Actually, I've met him before.
Third love of my life.
Oh.
And I need some respect on his name.
Okay, Michael Irvin, who was former Dallas Cowboy. He was really more of a star in college than in pro.
Bull fucking shit.
So allegedly...
They should have retired his jersey and nobody should be allowed to wear number 88 on the Cowboys again.
I mean,
say facts. Can
facts.
You say facts?
Okay, facts.
Thank you.
Okay, facts. So Marriott comes out and they're like, "Oh, we have a sexual assault case against Michael Irvin."
Yes, thank you.
And then he's like, "Okay, well," and they're like, "We have a video," and he's like, "Show me the video," and they wouldn't show him. And he's like, "It's like spreading this. He's the sexual assault case. He has to get cut from. He got cut from all of his shows that he does, like multiple shows that he's,
cancel culture really quick with no evidence.
Finally, they get the video. Have you watched the video? I did.
Yes.
Literally, I don't understand at what point
did he tap
this is
her on the arm.
Yes, he touched her elbow. And then she leaves, and then he's talking to these other people. But what I heard that what was the sexual assault was the conversation. Mm-hmm. And he allegedly said, "Have you ever had a big black guy inside of you?"
Michael Irvin, please say that to me.
I'm pretty sure he said that to me in 2011. And I loved it. And so... that was it. But why is Mary? I mean, obviously this is some kind of money grab. But what? Why are they even how you can't prove that if somebody said it's he said she said.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Yeah.
And so he's fighting it, obviously.
And should sue for defamation.
Yes, that's what he is
money
doing.
That he lost. Or that he will lose if he's
because he's been cut from all of his shows.
Oh.
So that I did look at that and I was like, this is so weird.
It's ridiculous. And she was a white girl?
I guess. She looked like it from the video.
One of the anchors was like, this is just classic. Like takes you way back to like when a white woman could cry something, like Emmett Till, right, was killed because he supposedly whispered at a white woman at a time that wasn't appropriate. And so he was killed and decapitated, I believe.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the movie yet because I'm not ready for it, but it's horrible. And they're doing like it's R. Kelly. Like it's R. Kelly type stuff coming out. No.
Listen, these white women, it's not even with white women. It's
women.
With women.
Yeah, it's women. It is.
Crying, me too.
Women.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
It's sad, and it's scary as a boy mom.
Yeah, I was going to say, raise your boy kids to just be aware of all of these crazy women out there who will, I don't know, it's real bad.
It's scary. Okay, well, thanks for that.
So there's that. Let's talk about a stalker who killed a podcaster and her husband.
Yeah, do we know the podcast name?
No, it was just she was just on a. It didn't say specifically the name. 38-year-old trucker. He was a trucker from Texas.
Oh shit, Sweepy! Did they have zip ties?
Wait a second.
Did they have
Is this
zip ties?
Sweepy? Sweepy murdering podcasters? I cannot.
It is.
He probably had them in your basement, in the secret house. Hidden.
Did they have zip ties tied?
Probably.
Oh goodness.
Oh my gosh! I knew it. I knew it was too good to be true. This guy's name is Raymond Kodak. Blah 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 blah. Like the last name is Kodak because it's so long I couldn't even say it. Stalked this 33-year-old podcaster there from Washington, Zohiri Sagedi. For 18 months, he stalked her outside of her house, sent her flowers, text messages, and then he broke into her home and shot her and her husband, and then he shot himself. The mother, so he came in through a window at 2 a.m., shot them. The mom was in the house, so she escaped, and she goes to the neighbors, calls 911. Kodak said that he first found her through a podcast because it was a podcast about finding work in the tech industry. Okay. And he became obsessed with her. She had filed a restraining order against him. Police knew that this was going on. They knew that she was being like stalked from this guy. He had, once he listened to the podcast, he contacted her and they were kind of like friendly, but she just was probably being nice to the guy. Like, oh, he's a listener. That's great. Well, he would repeatedly contact her on the phone, called her more than like 100 times in a day. And he eventually went to in-person stalking. He would wait outside of her house.
And she's not even talking about anything?
And this guy, it's not like he's like in this little black little Honda. He's in this like bright red truck. Like it really stood out like a sort like.
Oh, so this truck's black, so it wouldn't.
Yeah. So let's okay, good. So the podcaster filed a no contact order against him, was granted a temporary protection order, but they
didn't do nothing.
That doesn't do anything.
Nothing.
It just basically is paper. So even though she had told the police multiple times he showed up uninvited, they just couldn't do anything. He even he offered to have like a musical band come. He's like, I'm gonna have a musical band come outside of your house and play for you. Like all this, like beyond. He contacted the husband over and over. Yeah, I would have been like, okay, bring that band.
Bring the mariachi. Let me record it.
Let's do it. He like rented. He stayed in like hotels by the house. I mean, he just did the most. And so then he just decided he needed to kill her and her husband and then himself. Yep. Press conference said that it was believed that they were trying to figure out where he was, I guess, before he actually did the killing, because they were trying to, because she had filed the restraining order. They were trying to figure out where he was. They couldn't because he's a truck driver, so he's kind of all over the place. And so they're like, it's really shitty that this piece of paper, this restraining order doesn't really protect anyone. And so this was like the absolute worst outcome, which obviously, and this just was about, there's this lady from Connecticut I just read today that she had filed a restraining order against her ex-boyfriend, and it was sent to the judge, but the judge sent it back to the officers because they needed some information to be filed and completed. And it took that officer way too long to complete filling out the order. And within like 3 days, her ex had went to her house and murdered her with an axe.
Oh, God.
And her 3-year-old watched the whole thing.
No.
And she had another son who was in the house while it happened.
But he didn't hurt them.
No.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast. We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. You can find us on Instagram at @bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those two also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
Hola, yo soy Jackie.
Y yo soy Jessica.
Y esto es Zona del Crimen. Un podcast donde hablaremos sobre casos de crímenes reales
Y eventos impactantes que han quedado marcados a través del tiempo. Recuerden que nos pueden seguir en Facebook, Instagram
o donde escuches tus podcasts favoritos.
Hi, and welcome to Bustles and Bangers with your hostess, Rachel and Christopher.
I love it when you say my name.
And you didn't say hi.
I didn't. You just kept going. I'm going to introduce the book. I'm not reading it.
It's
because I don't like reading.
girls like cowboy butts, and those jeans don't hide anything.
Find us on Instagram at Bustles and Bangers or on roguemedianetwork.com.
Wow.
But it kind of came back on, this is like people who will, if they're in fear, they're filing these restraining orders. They're saying they're in fear for their life. This person said he's going to kill me. It was just like the our Australian case with the, what's her name? I forgot her name.
Yeah. Sorry.
But it's just all these instances where, what do you do?
Mm-mm.
Like, what's a restraining order do? So then you just get killed.
Yeah.
Speaking of killing, Jared Bridger, Bridegan.
Bridegan.
Do you know this case?
No.
It's happened a year ago.
Okay.
So he was married to this girl, and they got divorced in 2015. They had 2 kids together. They had twins. They were both fighting for custody. I believe he ended up getting custody, but she still was like above and beyond, like fighting, constantly filing court cases and just, I don't know, begging for some kind of custody. I don't know why he got full custody. Typically the mom does.
Yeah.
So I think they eventually agreed on some kind of a split custody, but then it was like every Wednesday, whoever had the kids, that other person would be able to go over to the house and have like a date night with them.
Okay.
So it's 2015, they get divorced. He gets remarried to another lady in 2017.
Okay.
And they have 2 kids. So he has 2 kids with first wife, 2 kids with second/current wife. He goes for a visit, on a date night visit, to go visit his twins, right? At the first wife house. Along with him is his 2-year-old in the car with him. So they go visit. They're leaving. As they're leaving, going home, he drives up on a tire in the middle of the road. So he's like, well, this is obstructing my drive. So he gets out to move the tire. He gets gunned down.
By first wife.
No.
Oh.
No, unknown.
Okay.
Gunned down, and he's shot dead in the middle of the road. Baby's still in the car. It goes, they have like video, they have like suspicions, but nothing happens. It's like a year down the road. So this happened in February 2022.
Okay.
Just this January, they made an arrest. Who did they arrest?
Somebody hired somebody to do it.
Tenon. What's his name? Henry Tenon, 62 years old. He's charged with conspiracy to commit murder, second-degree murder with a weapon, and accessory after the act of a capital felony, and child abuse because the kid is in the car.
Yeah.
So then the cops are like, we think that there is this was a ambush targeted murder.
Yes.
So they make the first arrest. Well, then just last week, they make a second arrest.
Wife. But which wife?
Fernandez Saldina. Let me get his full name. Fernandez Saldina. What's his first name? Mario Fernandez Saldina.
Okay.
He is currently married to the first wife.
Okay.
He is paying for the home where the first arrested guy was living.
Okay.
Tenon. So you have, yes. So then Fernandez Saldana, whatever, he gets arrested, and they're saying that this is planned, like they've had this planned out, this whole thing. So you can only imagine that the ex-wife or the first wife is like, I have no idea, nothing. I have no idea.
Of course.
I have no idea. Yet your husband is the one who is paying for the murder.
You will be the one to benefit from this because you get the kid now.
Mm-hmm. So there's all this. This needs to be. I need to do a whole like story on this because this is just kind of like hitting the main points. But it's ongoing, and it's they're calling it a highly acrimonious divorce and a contentious relationship with the Jared and the first wife.
That is motive.
Very much so. So now this Mario Fernandez Saldana he could face the death penalty. He was arrested in Orlando, sent to Jacksonville, and charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, solicitation to commit a capital felony, and child abuse.
Shit.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to turn on her.
Well, that's what the first guy did. The first arrested guy
turned on him.
is who turned. Yeah. So he
better talk.
Yeah. So he's talking. He's talking. So this is going to be interesting. And the second wife, she's nice, and you can tell the first wife is like,
So, and there has to be something. It is very hard to take a kid from their mom. Like, it's very rare that a mom loses because you got to be dangerous. You can even be a drug addict and you'll still get something.
Yeah. I mean, you just never know because, listen,
what kind of background he had.
the worst court of all is family court. It's worse than everything. It is the, you would, because that's just what I mean, it's just horrible. It's worse than like a murder case, having to deal with anything in family court.
So sad.
And this leads us to our hangover cure, Stephen Smith.
Murder!
So if you don't know, I need to play this clip for y'all. So turn it up. Here we go.
Somebody was there. It was more than one person that done this. And somebody knows. And they set him up on that road to make it look like a hit and run.
What do you think happened to him?
And I think he was beaten to death.
As far as that day, tell me about what Stephen was doing. You know, he was coming home from work.
No, he was in school. He had morning classes that day. And then he came home, took a shower, and, left. Nobody knows where he went because he was kind of private. So we didn't know where he went. He had a cell phone in his pocket. It wouldn't be the first time he had to call for somebody, And, but the car was locked. He had his phone and his key in his pocket. But then he left his wallet. So if you're going to go get gas, why would you leave your wallet in the car? And he wouldn't walk. No, he would have walked through the woods. He would not have been in that road.
And why did they reopen the investigation?
It was something they found while they were investigating Paul and Maggie's death, was all I was told. But what it is, I do not know. At first, I thought maybe it was something on his phone, Paul's phone. And then rumor was going out, they found something on his computer, and then they found a baseball bat. But I have no clue what it is, but I know I'm going to know soon. Well, it was ruled by the pathologist that it was a vehicle versus pedestrian. But there was no damage anywhere. He had a dislocated right shoulder, and then all his eye socket was broke. The whole back of his head was crushed. And he had some defense wounds on him. His shoes were still on. It first came up when Stephen's body was still at autopsy. And some of his friends came over, him and Stephanie's friends, and they said, it was them Murdoch boys that did this. And then I was like, and Stephanie come up to me crying, and I said, well, Steph, you can't believe everything you hear. People's gonna talk, so. And then it was like, we never thought that. But then it just kept coming over and over and over again.
Wow.
Yeah. So, that was Stephen Smith's mom that was talking, if you didn't know.
And the dad died, and they said they really think he died of a broken heart.
Yeah, I think I do remember hearing that. So SLED has reopened this investigation to his death because what they originally did was like, it was a hit and run. And they were basically saying that he was hit by the side mirror of a car.
No.
But like his clothes were fully on. Like if you're hit by a car, like you would think you would at least have like rips in your clothes or your something in your shoes. Everything was, it just was all these oddities. So she raised enough money to have his body exhumed. So now they're going to exhume his body. And what they're hoping to find in the exhumation is that if he was injured by the side view mirror, it would had to have been by a SUV or a truck. You would see fractures in the skull that would be consistent with being struck in the head with a hard object. But I don't see if you're hit in the back of the head, why is your eye socket out? Or if you're hit in the front of the head, why is your back of your head busted up? I guess you fall, you get hit, and then you fall back. Actually, that's probably how it happens. So you would see fractures that would be consistent with that. And then the area that he was found wasn't a highway. It wasn't like a high speed traffic. It was like a country road.
Yeah.
And it was in the middle. It was odd that he was in the middle of the road and that another car didn't run him over, or it's just a bunch of inconsistencies. And then they showed the map of so his car was found in one spot. About a couple of miles away was where his body was. And then a couple miles further was where his house was. So they were like, why would he just start walking? Like, if your car runs out of gas, you have a phone.
Yeah.
You call somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the rumor is that he called Buster Murdahl, which is Alec's son, Paul's brother. The rumor is that why would he call Buster? Well, because they had this
affair.
Like if you call somebody who you're close to come help you out or pick you up. So they said that they had this secret relationship.
Phone records could prove that. Well, I wonder why they haven't.
Because the Murdahl family rushed to the scene and we're trying to cover it all up.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if they paid the cost or what they did. They just tried to just.
But as the mom and the sister, they can look up the phone records. Like, it's so easy to go on to AT&T and look at the phone record.
Yeah. So then if he did call him, then the police never interviewed Buster about this at all. So this is most likely where the Murdahls had all this power. This is 2015. Mm-hmm. But then, and so nobody wanted to even mention their names in the media. Mm-hmm. And Mandy Matney out there, she has the Murdahl Murders podcast. And that's who first uncovered all of this stuff. And she was the first one to start talking about everything. I remember listening to it years ago when it first was coming out, and she was like scared for even doing it.
And she from there?
Yeah,
Okay.
and she like busted up this whole Good Old Boys Club, and that's kind of where, like,
wow.
But it's after the boat crash, and then whenever the Maggie and Paul were shot, that everything kind of started coming out with all this stuff, which we know. But there was also, so Buster's name was mentioned several times on these like highway patrol tapes. He was never interviewed by authorities. There was a docuseries on Netflix. I don't know if this was the recent one or there was one before, but one of Stephen Smith's friends named Olivia says that I believe he picked up Stephen, that Buster picked up Stephen, that he was fooling Stephen into thinking he was taking him home, and then they got a little ways down the road and things all started to unravel. And then she said, I believe the Murdaughs did whatever the hell it took to keep everyone's mouth shut that night.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And another thing is that Randy Murdaugh, one of Alec's brother, this is the one who works at that law firm that he works at or worked at. He, I guess, was one of the first ones to come to the scene, and he calls Sandy Smith and says he wanted to take the case free of charge.
I remember that.
And she's like, that was really odd, and she didn't even know there was a case to be taken, and she was like,
what?
Why are you offering?
Yeah.
Like, it was very strange. So that's where we stand with that.
I'm trying to remember on one of the documentaries that I saw, and they were talking to his sister, and there was something. It was like they had separate roles because there was something wrong with his car. So he called his sister over, and she looked under the hood, and she was like, "Looks like somebody disconnected because his car had stopped previously. Looks like somebody disconnected your something so that your car would stop, down the road or something." So, and then, so she was alluding to, did the car really run out of gas?
Right.
Did it never run out of gas? Did somebody do something to his
And if you
car?
start walking to go get gas, you would need your wallet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was like, he was, if he was walking, he would be walking in the woods. And apparently he had been like, so Stephen was openly gay. He was an openly gay guy. I mean, he has great bone structure. He's like he
looks like a girl.
He does look like a girl. And he was always aware of his surroundings because he was openly gay in this area that you could have like a hate crime, hate crimes. So that's what the mom said in the interview. She was just like, he was always aware this, like he wouldn't just, this just wouldn't, it wasn't just like, it's just too odd. He was aware. He was staying aware. So she thinks it's suspicious. We think it's suspicious. I would love to see if this, if this comes down on Buster. I mean, this family, and now at this point, they're like everything. They're letting everything out. They're gonna let everything out.
Everything. For 5 seconds, I was like, Buster literally just lost his whole family. Right? Like his mom gone, brother gone, dad in jail for forever. And so like that's your immediate family. So I felt sorry for 5 seconds, but then you can't for long because it's like he's probably responsible for this.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form. Wow.
So there you have it. Oh, then there's one last thing. Gwyneth Paltrow, she was skiing in I don't know even when it was. She was skiing. She ran into this guy while she's skiing. She had a ski instructor with her. And she crashes into the guy. The guy gets like a concussion and breaks like several ribs. And then I guess he just now came out and was like trying to sue her. And she was like, well, you ran into me. It's like, no, bitch, you ran into me. Clearly. So apparently this is about to go to trial. I didn't even know anything about this. So.
And so what was this interview about?
So she did this, so she does Goop, whatever Goop is. I guess that's her, I don't even know what the hell Goop is, but it's her show.
Her new, it's
some
not like a
show
supplement?
or.
No. don't know.
It's probably a supplemental show. Look it up. So she does this goop thing. Well, the rumors, people are thinking she came out with this interview talking about how she eats, like she doesn't do anything until noon and she has coffee and then she doesn't eat anything. And when she does, she eats like a piece of grass or something. I don't know. It's so stupid. And she looks real old and she does this like dry brush, whatever the hell. I don't know. She like exfoliates her skin when it's dry. And she just looks really old and she probably does need to eat more food and she's never eaten cheese. And so there's obviously some mental issues going on with her.
Because she doesn't eat cheese.
She said she's never eaten like Cheese Whiz or something. I don't know. But didn't everybody used to eat Cheese Whiz on like a Ritz cracker? I mean, facts. So apparently she came up with this new interview talking about her goop thing. And then they were like, oh, it's just to distract from her skiing case. And that's what this interview, that's why this interview came out from what I read. But she was, let's see. Paltrow got up, skied away, leaving this dude lying in the snow, seriously injured in 2019. That's when the complaint was filed. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, so if that comes up, y'all, there's so many cases that are about to come to trial, but then they keep getting delayed.
Goop is skincare. It's a different kind of supplements. I think one of them may be like a cleanser too, I
don't want to use anything called goop. I'm sorry. I don't want your goop. Sounds like a STD or something. I don't know. Like you got the
gouts?
Goop. You got the goop.
Nope. Well. All good stuff. And I've been missing the Murdaws, so hopefully this is going to be something big and ongoing so we can...
Oh, yeah. The next trial, I think, is supposed to be this Letitia Staunch. She killed her stepson.
Oh.
Allegedly. But we'll talk about that next time.
Okay. All right, y'all. We hope you enjoyed the news. We will see you Thursday for a brand new full episode. If you haven't done so yet, go rate us, review us, and subscribe to us. Follow us on all the platforms.
Do it. Do it now.
All right, that's it. Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.